Hello, and welcome to another edition of Sierra Leone Media Live on YouTube and Facebook. And welcome to the Thursday edition winner, How the Go Inside the Republic. Well, like you know what in the world say, How the Go Inside the Republic. And I believe say everybody don't they sit down, they wait for see exactly what's in there for be today na the Sierra Leone Media House. Well, today we have a lot to talk about. Like I say, last week the program we discussed so many other issues then we related to Salon and the participants and the dialogue. And so what's in the happen the economic states of affairs in Sierra Leone and so many other discussions then we are free to say be relevant for me to talk about in our last week's show. So this week is the continuation of what we been say last week. Now we just continue for this week. But today is going to be slightly different because we're going to be focusing on just three major elements, one of which now the outcome of the dialogue. We get to look at the dialogue paper and the recommendation. I don't know exactly whether I for call a recommendation or whatever it might be. We get to look into them in details and see how it benefits the people of Sierra Leone, APC as a political party, and the government where they in power right now, even though some of which still not 110% accept the fact they are legitimate, and regardless of what in the dialogue outcome be, we still hold on to that position we always do hold on to. Reason being, because we are not a political party, we are an entity that represents the voice of Sierra Leone. And I think as a member of the community, we still hold on to a position because we cannot make political decisions because we are not politicians and we don't run a political party. So what has happened today has nothing to do with the people of Sierra Leone. It's the political decisions made by two political parties. One is in government, which is the SLPP, and the other one is APC. We don't claim foul. We don't make all the accusations after the 2023 June election where the outcome of the result was not accepted by the party as a whole and likely the entire Salon community in Sierra Leone and outside Sierra Leone. Also, the second thing we want to talk about is the way forward. What happens now after the dialogue decision, after 3 days of sitting together and coming up with solutions or recommendations or whatever it might be, what happens going forward? And then, of course, we deal now with the state of economic affairs of Sierra Leone and what you will feel to say that the norms and abnormal stuff the way they happen, where they make Salon community, they just go down the drain in terms of their livelihood, in terms of their community cohesion, we're still not strong at all. And also in terms of the economic state of how people in they survive and live with this kind difficult situation where we find ourselves as Sierra Leoneans in Sierra Leone. But not just that, we within the diaspora will also suffer the consequences of what's in the happen in Salon. But I always want to make we the diaspora and say we still haven't been given the valued recognition by the people of Sierra Leone, especially the political parties them and politicians them and administration where they run Salon as a whole. Yes, they tap into our resources when they needed us, especially financial resources and also expertise resources. But after using our resources, and some of you would go to the jump, put on fish inside water because we believe say it's business as usual. And then some of we back where they go, they decide say, no, I cannot follow up the business as usual mandates because I have principles. Some of we they left, some of we they decide for stay and don't participate in government affairs, but run with own private entities. But they still haven't given us our value for money. So what we get for do as diasporans is going to be another decision going forward from now on, whether we should take things in our own hands and take responsibility for what we're doing in Sierra Leone and make sure, say, we get the best of money's worth, or we keep quiet and don't talk, which is what possibly some people want. Are we going to be doing that for the rest of our lives as we are still in the diaspora, or are we going to make a meaningful contribution? So today's program is going to be packed with all of these three things in a way I don't highlight, and we want to see exactly what's going to be the outcome. But surprisingly, we have studio guests them today where they can talk about this particular issue. And the studio guests they will get are our regulars. Our regulars, as in people that we original regulars that we don't deal with for quite some time now, but they've been absent for some time based on the fact that everybody else after the election don't take a backseat looking at what is happening in Sierra Leone and outside Sierra Leone and develop speed for make them able to go back and implement whatever they don't learn or be part of the community or make a change in terms of the diaspora influence or influence directly linked with Sierra Leone. But like I say, plenty of we don't go on. Is it self-political or self-community exile? I don't know how you might want to call it, but some of we don't put yourself on self-exile based on the fact of so many rumors then we really fly from left, right, and center. But again, we refuse to accept the fact that we should not actively participate in the politics of Sierra Leone because yes, we are Sierra Leoneans and it is one of our constitutional rights. I said this deliberately. It is one of our constitutional rights to participate in the politics of Sierra Leone, whether mainstream or corner stream or left stream or right stream politics. We are Sierra Leoneans, and the economic development of Sierra Leone concerns us because we are legitimate Sierra Leoneans. But the reason why I mentioned constitutional rights, now because that constitutional right has been denied to us as Sierra Leoneans and also being denied to us as Sierra Leoneans who currently live in the diaspora because we are not practically involved in the constitution of Sierra Leone that gives us the right to vote and participate actively. But yet, our financial contribution is mandatory to the political parties responsible for making sure that we have a political platform in Sierra Leone. So there is a lot to talk about today in all of the issues there. So we hold we together as Sierra Leoneans, both politically, economically, socially, and even tribally. So we have to look at some of these issues and we discuss it in details if we can and highlight some of the concerns then we as the people that we sit on the panel today, they discuss. So I would like to introduce to you one of our panelists for today's program. We now somebody who all know has been actively involved in the politics of Sierra Leone, but then at the other side of the political sphere is none other than the man himself, Mr. Alusine McFoy. What they call, well, I can always call him Alusine Ajiraf. I don't know whether I still call him. So over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, whoever within at the wall will listen to this program. Thank you very much, T-Boy. Yeah, again, important day for we in our national politics. Like what you don't say, and I want to talk beaucoup. Lord, just look at this recommendation here and see what it really mean for we the people of Sierra Leone. Because at the end of the day, APC do not matter, SLPP don't matter. What it matter are people in Salon. It's a country. It's above everything else. So whatever we do, we got to put Salon at the center of every decision making. So again, thank you for inviting me again for Lord Kangi. We've used them on this dialogue we then get and the resolution we come up. Yeah, so looking forward to going.
Okay, thank you very much, Alusine. Like I said, I don't know whether I will still get the rights for calling you Alusine Ajiraf.
Well, why not? Ajiraf, why not? A lot of people understand Ajiraf, they don't understand, say, we've been involved in supporting the UK community for years.
Thank you.
Ajiraf actually means Advert Joy Relief Agency Foundation. That was named after my father.
Thank
we were helping asylum seekers, refugees in the UK for support them into employment, training skills, involving community work. We did that for 14, 15 years with Ajiraf. So that's where T-Boy is still.
I do and deliberately because it's about reminding people of what sort of contributions people have made within our community in the UK. Because I'm thinking the people who don't know what in don't do within the past 20, 25 years in this country might think you're new to community support, might think you're new to some of these things they would don't cry for all these years and we still continue to cry for. So if they don't understand where we are coming from, I think it's about time for us to be reminding people of what you guys have done to make your own meaningful contribution to the Sierra Leone community going back 25 years down the line. People will not even get access for do. No, it's true. We have to make those recommendations. And your recommendation that I make for you anyway.
I know acknowledging it is good.
It's good to acknowledge people for their good work. But anyway, let's move on. Also, the other fine young gentleman, I will not call him new kid on the block. He's been around for quite some time, and he has made his own meaningful contribution to the politics in Sierra Leone and also the politics in the diaspora. This is somebody who wants to, emerging to become a member of parliament over the past 2023 elections. But like I can always say, well, wait, no, you should not vex, so chill, and then continue for chill and wait for like it. Sometimes maybe like God be say you don't need for go and like now all them for the whole money, so now I know now it's right now. But I bring you no other than this fine young gentleman, winner Abdul Blah. Abdul Blah, welcome to the program and say hello to viewers.
Thank you very much, Sierra Jem. Thank you, Femi. Thank you, T-Boy. And I appreciate the invite.
That was short. We see Femi say even AC you for check for see whether I don't talk done.
I appreciate the invite and the intro. Yes, like we say, to eat them, for try again. And myself, I thank on all for the prayers then. But myself, I be the pray say, if this not for me, let God not give me. You see, so yeah, so we did time no change, but we start with it now, we did. Even though some man and the other side, well, we don't know them party anyway.
I understand what you mean by that, but thank you very much once more, Abdul, for your contribution over the years, as in one of the very young people, and we be the push for become a member of parliament in this proportional representation we just done at the 2023 elections now, Sierra Leone. But again, like I said, don't give up. There is still more time for you. You're still young, and we always know say politics in Sierra Leone 30 years, 40 years down the line, if you're only about 50. And I think say you know each day, so you're not going to forward it too much. But the politics of the world has changed. It's not about your age anymore. It's about the contribution of what you can do towards the community we represent. Although we haven't seen the active movement of that yet, but we come close to them. I will bring in Femi later on. I know for say is working behind the scene, making sure that everything happens for today's show. And definitely, most likely, Juma might join we later on as we continue, or he might join we online for making your meaningful contribution. So let's go right to the program. And we all possibly within the platform don't see the report or recommendation we then put together for the 3-day dialogue of, I'm not sure whether it's a 3-day dialogue of peace, 3-day dialogue of reconciliation, 3-day dialogue of what it is. But we have a 3-day dialogue of something between APC as a political party and the government of Sierra Leone, specifically ECSL to be precise. So, like I say again, we were not too sure as Sierra Leone Media. I will say that with authority because we've had a discussion over and over and over for find out exactly what were the issues surrounding the dialogue. We still don't know whether the dialogue now for get rid of Mohamed Kone. We still don't know whether the dialogue now for make Mohamed Kone produce the RRF forms of the elections 2023. We still don't know whether the dialogue, now the fact that we still have a president that we strongly believe did not win the election, we still don't know whether the dialogue was for peace. We still don't know whether the dialogue was for reconciliation or getting APC members of parliament and mayors and councillors to go back and take their lawful position that they've been selected for or elected for by their political parties. So we were still in limbo. But before we start the discussion, between the two guests that will get today, winner Alusain and Abdul, can you guys just briefly explain to us what's in exactly now been the purpose of this dialogue, so we know exactly where we're coming from? Then we'll be able for now know exactly whether the recommendations or decisions or conclusion of the dialogue make sense to the initial state of what the dialogue be stand for. Over to you, Alusain. What's your take on what was the purpose of this dialogue, if you can enlighten with more?
I think say for Abdul go, Lad will come back. I think say the question for you to Abdul, because really and truly, he is APC, and I empathy with the dialogue with government. We will all have been just bystanders and onlookers. So I think say Abdul for able to tell we what team women and go dialogue for, what then go talk about, because we don't see recommendation, but We don't know what them will talk about. They tell we, empathy, I'm afraid.
Okay, I'm not saying Abdul get for tell
so
we,
we go, so I will come to what Abdul don't tell we that I was saying that they will begin look at waiting the dialogue, waiting is that paper they, So I think it's only fair, I know Abdul say I want to try a political campaign, 2028 election campaign, I want to begin political campaign. So I want to forgive us.
Let's talk. Reason we make a come first to you. I know like Abdul self-feel say I pick on them because APC.
Well, not to pick on that. You go now genuine question for Oscar because I'm party.
True.
And I think as somebody will aspire as MP.
Yeah.
I'm thinking somehow there's some weight of him and the party will speak to him. And the party will speak to the Diaspora branch. Because as a Sierra Leonean, I'm confused. I don't know what the dialogue was about.
Over to you. What was the purpose of the dialogue and how you go clarify either as a party member or as somebody we know say that this not the reason we make you party take the government of Sierra Leone into this dialogue? And who that actually take in comp into the dialogue? Was it APC that actually invites the international communities, or it was the government of Sierra Leone that invited the international communities to mediate this dialogue? So what was it like?
Well, good evening again. For me, understanding, not too long ago, about a month ago, so APC UK and I will be hold a protest where we call for the Commonwealth to intervene and then talk about what's in the happiness salon in the last couple of months, especially the run up to the election and during the election and after the election. So where this dialogue happened, so it makes sense that protest probably also with the APC and the SLPB, I think then CNC is necessary or make them invite, these international bodies, be it Commonwealth, AU, and the ECOWAS. So I think it was more of a collective thing. But Big Brother makes something say, the last couple of months, I know if there any communication within the APC executive or delving into this sphere, so then kind of, I know we'll see them tightly, but then more or less not come out and reach out or spill out any beans out for give clues to people. Well, me specifically, not to facilitate communication, but specifically in terms of this dialogue with Egon. Mr. Glad just to go to Dr. Samuel in speech previously, we making a party office about 2 weeks ago. And then if you listen to that speech there and the opening speech to this ceremony, it's more or less the same. Probably 1 or 2 grammar and sentences were changed. You understand? So the dialogue with our friend yourself so right now where we don't get this preamble and then the resolution. You see? So
I would say in a nutshell, it was a joint decision by the government of Sierra Leone and the APC as a political party. So Alassane, you've had it now from Abdul. What's your take?
Okay, that's good. Obviously, knowing what I know following the June 24 elections and the dispute in terms of the way the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone conducts such an incompetent election, I think born out of that, now we get this dialogue. Because what the APC, when the main opposition did, was disengage from government completely, disengage from governance, disengage at every single level. So the country become a very difficult place for govern in the sense that the economic situation becomes bad. But internationally, the government become a para government. Internationally, the government was not legitimate in the eyes of most people because democracy was not in existence in Sierra Leone. In that respect, so it'd be imperative for the one day we said international communities, we development partners them for coming and say, I think say before this becomes so protracted that it damages Sierra Leone's fragile creeping to peace, reconciliation, democracy. I think say for coming and put these two parties together and find out what are the main issue, So from the dialogue, from what me know, the main issue of the opposition APC was that this government is illegitimate. The elections were not fair, were not free, were not transparent, and the election was rigged by the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone in favor of the incumbent. So that was a complaint of the APC, and I think say then they get international traction. We bring the mediation. Obviously, before the mediation, we already left the opposition, give speech and talk. There wasn't that much coming from the SLPP side. but mainly from the APC side who were talking about rerun, full disclosure of votes, otherwise nothing will happen, they will not, all that kind of stuff, and then after 3 days of talking to each other, then come out with this communique. The communique looks interesting. There's few phrases within that communique where, for me, the most important phrase the government will consider. Will consider. What does will consider mean? It's for me, it's disappointing. It's disappointing as a Democrat. It's disappointing as somebody who believe in the Republic. It's disappointing as somebody who believe in Sierra Leone for be a better place. We don't look at governance systems, and there's a reason why democracy is important, where people have free will and a choice to decide who represents them, because it spurs growth, it spurs development, it brings national and social cohesion together. It's a good system. It's a good system where we make the choice, not somebody else making the choice for us. I was expecting a lot more. Being a member of a different political party, I was expecting this to be more about Sierra Leone rather than about the party themselves. But again, I think we were wrong to assume that as a people and as a country, because this was about the APC. This was not about Sierra Leone. This was not about the Sierra Leonean people. This was not about this was not about getting us out of the bondage of stolen election, rigged elections. This is not about the idea that every 10 years they will hand over a baton to another party. For people like me, we strongly believe Sierra Leone needs a vibrant political space where we need for break this cancer in our society where it seems to be only the APC and the SPP for govern. And they haven't governed in the interest of the people. They've governed in their own interest. For 63 years, we're living in squalor poverty, abject, complete, total hopelessness. A people with a die of starvation, infant mortality rate rising here and there. So for me, I was hoping that this dialogue will have been the basis of setting a new page that will deliver Sierra Leone at the next election, that will give us a democratic mandate, that my vote matters, that Mami Fatu within a Kuto Road in vote matter, that Yayebu within a Pendembu village in vote matter, that Mami within a local Masama Yazanab in vote matter, where they make decisions, say they put peace person in governance. And the people that they want, not the people that we somebody goes at the back of a table and write on a piece of paper and decide, say, this is what it's going to be. So I was looking forward to a more mature dialogue, a more mature conversation. I was looking forward to a more serious and a generational thing where this was taken a bit more serious. I see the recommendations will come out. There are good things in there about prisoner release, but it looks like lip service. They will give you a list. I would have expected a demand where the tool was warm to say all political prisoners must be released with immediate effect, rather than we pick and choose. So who's to say whether in the pick, whether elect, in the pool for communal jail, whether elect left handed, so all of this, is disappointing. The idea about forming a committee that will report on election reforms for 6 months is good, and the language about it has to be implemented. I hope that's done. For me, that's the only good thing I see in this that really that has any certainty. We talk about MPs going back to parliament and giving them back their monies. Why should they pay any of the MPs a single penny? They haven't worked for Sierra Leone. They're not doing nothing for the country. They've decided to boycott governance because they were in protest. Why should the government of the Republic give them any single penny? What have they done to deserve a penny? Is this about enriching themselves and putting it in their pockets? Is it about the people of Sierra Leone? In the time we'll get economic hardship, so they might not know, not do nothing. They just go decide for get paid. And I hope the government of Sierra Leone does not honor that, because it sets a bad precedent. It sets a really, really horrible precedent that you cannot do work and then you expect to be paid. So it becomes a free-for-all basket. I know work, if I tell no more, I make vex, or I make one ready back, they can't bill me, they will pay me. I don't think they deserve a single penny. Nobody deserves a single penny who did not get involved in governance, because people in us alone, we're not going to pay them. They get nothing. Why should they get paid? Why? They decided to boycott. The government didn't tell them to boycott. They made the decision to boycott. And I think that's a bad precedent set in there. And this idea, and I think probably one of the reasons why we get such a bad recommendation is this idea that MPs want to go back, they lost money, mayors want to go back, they lost money, or man, they say, we will not get paid. But this is politics. If you believe in what you believe in, and you have to make sacrifices. You're not in there to make money, you're not in there to enrich yourself, you're in there to represent us as a people. Why should we pay you? Why should the taxpayers' money be spent on you for boycotting governance? There's a lot with this recommendation where personally for me, it's a much ado about nothing. Today I said, one thing I said today, after this, I read this whole thing. I did a quote from Shakespeare. I said, when the holy ball is done, the battle is lost and won. What Sierra Leone needs is a vibrant, strong, and a genuine third force that will checkmate these two political parties. Because what they're doing, they're taking us for mugs. They're taking the people of the Republic of Sierra Leone. They're not getting no respect for we. And what they've demonstrated is lack of respect for the people. They talk about peace. You cannot be so unjust to people and then you talk about peace or in the interest of Sierra Leone. If you care about people, if you care about the interest of Sierra Leone, look at people dying. Then they drive the biggest vehicles, then they leave, then they travel abroad, fata and do all kind of crazy stuff. And we are dying. Our people are suffering. Sierra Leone, our inflation is 54.5%. People don't get the daily bread. The cost of fuel are 30,000 leones. Transport, people cannot afford it anymore. People cannot afford a single decent meal a day.
I understand we can't do that.
Care about these people in the country, and then we have this charade and wasting government money and wasting the money we'll not get for setting up a peace dialogue. If you knew this is what you wanted, forget your money and forget this and forget that. Why did you go into this?
Okay, I'm not saying right now you don't drift small. You don't come off from the.
Why would it's not about drifting. Why then put the country through 4 months of economic hardship?
We are coming to the hardship of the country. Yes, it is part of the discussion. But I have to look at it step by step. So no, we'll go back and forth and repeat yourself again. We'll come for dealing with the hardship of the country. We not expect at this current state in time. But what I say is based on the recommendation. You don't highlight some concerns them already, where some of those concerns are the concerns where many Sierra Leoneans they share. But I don't know what's in that Abdul in your take on some of those concerns we don't highlight. One of which, okay, if I can go through the resolutions of what's in the dialogue say, we can go through the first 3 resolutions. We say His Excellency the President to make a national address on dialogue, unity, cohesion, and peace. That's one. The second one is the APC will end its non-participation in governance. That's 2. And the third one is His Excellency the President, in consultation with the APC party, will constitute a cross-party committee on electoral systems and management bodies, review with 3-way leadership nominated by the government of Sierra Leone, the APC party, and development partners. So basically, that's now the first 3 elements. I'm not going for read through the remaining bits of what's in the third one say. But Abdul, what's your take on those first 3? Because Alessandro highlights possibly few of them already, but let's deal with them accordingly. So what's your take on the first 3 where I don't highlight to you? Because I have my own different opinion, but after listening to yours, I will express my views on what I think about those 3. So over to you.
Well, firstly, the number 1 way they say the president will make that address. I think if I can reflect back to the European Union, the report a few months back or 2021, I think they stated that as well. I can't remember. I don't have the report on me, but I think vividly I remember they made that report. It was highlighted there as well. So I think that was just necessary, and I think we have well, no, I'm calling president, but we have a caretaker. The expectation was there, after his experience in 1996 that, he will do better this time, you see. But it don't prove you wrong saying, no, we not start leading, now for government, you see. So, and find whether they don't do this recommendation, remind that again back, you see. So, yeah, so it's necessary for that to happen. and I think say for any progressive country we want to go into democratical practices, these are common things. You don't need some with man for kind rights, then kind paper or ECOWAS for kind rights, then kind put in black and white for you. This should be something at the back of your mind, when you're going into these things. These are things that you study at, lower level college, when you go to universities, and then probably if you do go into deeper, political studies, these are common things, you see. And then the second part of the APC, not taking part, eventually, it was going to happen anyway. It was going to happen because there's no way, whatever the diasporas are contributing towards the MPs, the mayors, and the councillors, and the chairmen, that the diasporas won't be able to sustain that. The party won't be able to sustain that in terms of financially, helping them. It was only a matter of time. Even Mohamed Bango and Nakchest, multiple times. Then they come very soon, you see. So, it felt like, we just don't prove Mohamed Bango right. Validates his and comments them, you see, all in kind of. So I think it was only a matter of time for the APC elected officials to return to offices, to represent their constituents and the districts to do what they've been elected for. So it was only a matter of time. It was a question of when, because even if I can quote Dr. somewhere where they asked them, when it will go, it's going to happen, but he didn't give anything away. You see, after this was yesterday, now the day before, after the closing of the ceremony, I remember the journalist asked him, so but when the elected officials will go back, he said they will go, but he didn't really give when. You see, so that it sounds like there's a caveat there, so that it was all a matter of time. And then the third part, which is His Excellency the President, in consultation with the APC, will constitute a cross-party. Again, this is something that's been on the white papers before, the TRC, so these are all things that are, growing up, listening to political analysts and listening to political commentators, these are all things that has been on the TRC reports already. So I don't know why is it that for someone that's had experience in governance back in 96, we need to remind him of all this, minor stuff, you see. But it's good that at least somebody don't come over and waste money for carry mind and back, for go through this, and that also goes for my party as well. This not to just matter bill, you see. So, I like to be objective. I just want to say matter bill, but this is something that we should have. This should be. I'm glad that we're going through this now in the 21st century, and then we can analyze it from a different perspective, from the grassroots to the elite per se. So I think these things these are very. It's sad to read them in black and white in the 21st century. Big Brother McFord. These are things we study in college and universities. You see, so for somebody for come all the way for kind of right and black and white to remind we say we need to go through these things. It's kind of, I think it's shameful.
Okay. Thank you very much, Abdul. And I feel say what you have said is totally correct according to voting. Alusan don't say, of course, you are on the right track. But I think my question on the three aspects of what we don't highlight now, the fact say, since after the election, has Mr. Bio made any kind of statements that consist of any form of community cohesion, which means, say there's a problem in the country? Has he made any statement within the past 3 or 4 months after the election for close the gap between the various different community divide we don't get for the past couple of months? So what's in the reality for say yes, he could one? It is just a suggestion, right? And is it a possibility for him to do it, or is he going to do it, or is he going to willingly do it because he wants to close or bridge the gap for community cohesion? Is one of the questions that I still want to ask, whether the possibility of that is going to be realistic or it will never happen. Alusan, what's your take?
Well, first of all, I think so for refer to the president as President Bio, because after the APC don't dispute the president's election for donkey months, They don't have that accept say the man as president and he's president. So he's President Julius Maada Bio.
No, I totally agree with you. But like I said earlier on, we are not a political party.
No,
we are not politicians.
I'm not a politician, but me, I'm saying he's president Julius Maada Bio, and he's president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Today, as I speak, he's the president.
So are you saying APC has sanctioned the approval of him being the president?
Absolutely. APC has.
Well, APC is APC. APC is not Sierra Leone.
APC not get no more claim for say this president is illegitimate.
Okay, yeah, that's today, not APC.
After today, after Tibon a democratic right for accept or not for accept.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
And as a citizen of the Republic of Sierra Leone, we don't have two presidents. There's one president, and his name is Julius Maada Bio.
Yeah.
So the president's prerogative, it will be at the president's doing. If the president want honor him, he go honor him. If the president not fit honor him, then they up to him. Because I'm not saying that now this where we bind the president for accept anything there. It is whether the president is willing to do it. If he chooses to be a statesman, a good statesman, he will say, okay, enough is enough. Let us come to the table. Let us put Sierra Leone first. We don't fight, we fight. We've done what we had to do. And now, for the next 4 years, 8 months, minimum, let us put Sierra Leone before Lord left is your key business. Let us go forward. All the recommendations we don't make, if the president want for Duan, T-boy, now go Duan.
But is he really going to do it?
That is not for me to say. It is
based on your experience of what has happened over the past couple of years in his reign, we don't see the worst of political divide in Sierra Leone in the past 5 years. So has he said anything to bridge the gap?
So for me, like I said, I do not follow SLPP, nor am I a member of the APC. My political party was barred from standing in the 2024 elections. 2023 elections.
Again, that is very unconstitutional because the mandate for you guys to be barred was not legitimate.
Simply because we carry a region that is very, very popular and that the incumbent needed. So our party was dragged to put and barred from participating. For me, that was taking away my democratic right, my choice, and that is an unforgivable sin in any democracy. Taking people's choice away because you want to win. Whatever has happened has happened. And again, like I said, looking at the communique, the only thing I see there that interests me the least is the setting up of an electoral reform body that will look at the electoral reform laws of the Republic of Sierra Leone with international partners, with moral guarantors, with outside influence sitting there and saying, these are what needs to happen. Now, again,
I will
tell you.
Let me hold you.
I believe this time the president will do it. And let me tell you why.
Let me hold you on that
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I believe he will do the things he said he's going to do this time.
Go on.
Sierra Leone is in dire economic position.
Yep.
Our government needs the funding to lift our people from dire poverty and death.
Agreed.
So I believe this president, if he's going to act responsibly for the interest of the Republic of Sierra Leone and its people, he will go by these recommendations, because I am sure somewhere sitting in there, these recommendations have caveats linked to them. There's a caveat saying, okay, well, you have to do goodwill, we will give you this funding. You have to do this, we'll give you this. And I'm hoping that there is a reason, and there's a reason for him to do it. I'm hoping, as a human being, he sees a reason to do this. I'm hoping and I'm praying. I'm not going to say, oh, he's not going to do it, or I don't believe he's going to do it. No, I am hoping, because what I have, T-boy, is hope, because I care about that country. I care about my people, my mama, my brother, my cousin, my family. That's where I came from. That's the only country I am a citizen of. And that's the country I want to be a citizen of. No other country on this planet. There's no other country on this planet I want to be called a citizen than the Republic of Sierra Leone. So for me, I hope he's national enough. He feels for us enough to do these things, to follow these recommendations, because it is good for us as a people, and it will be good for the nation that he sticks to this and he adheres to this and he moves forward with it. And politics is not played, parties and politics.
Okay.
That's my hope.
No, I agree with your hope, and I have similar or more hope than what you've expressed. But my concerns with all of those hopes that you've highlighted, to me, is simple. We've experienced 5 years of serious political, tribal, and economic division in Sierra Leone. 5 years. And I will guarantee you, the president has never, in any circumstances within that 5 years, either has come to any community, whether be it his political party's community or the opposition's or other political parties' communities. He has never made any statements of community cohesion that will stop the violence, that will stop the discrimination, that will stop everything that is happening to the people of Sierra Leone. What he has done over the past 5 years of his reign in office is to create more political, tribal, and economical divide within the communities in Sierra Leone. I'll tell you why I'm saying this. The reason why I think this government is not going to be able to adhere to some of the recommendations made. One is because before we get to this dialogue state, we saw the amount of delegates that went to America to witness the UN convention. Guess what? We were not expecting the amount of challenges imposed by this government against the founders of Sierra Leone. So what is going to make any difference for these recommendations to be followed through by the government of Sierra Leone? If you look at the further recommendations on this particular paper, it has options of verifications, which you have highlighted already on the release of political prisoners or anybody who is deemed to be arrested due to the election or something to do with his or our political parties. Why do we have to be selective? So that is one bone of contention that proves to me that the government is not ready to make any difference in what the recommendations are going to say. Secondly, we are not talking about, you mentioned, bringing various different political parties and international communities together to mediate, to form a group of people that will make decisions on how the election should be won going forward. But the international communities have made it mandatory clear to the people of Sierra Leone over the past couple of years in previous elections and even with these elections, they can only make recommendations for 2028 election if it is going to happen in 2028. Otherwise, they have nothing to do with the political situation of how Sierra Leone is going to govern their country. They can only make recommendations. And what annoys me the most, we have all these different players involved in the political dispensation of Sierra Leone over the past 5 or 10 years. Again, your political party was disadvantaged even though we have PPRC. Your political party was disadvantaged even though we have Peace Commission. Your political party was disadvantaged, and you know for sure that it was not legitimate, but it is all under the umbrella of almost the key players that are highlighted on this particular dialogue document. So what difference is it going to make going forward? As far as I'm concerned, it's not going to make any difference. It's just a policy paper they've just released, and the government is not going to follow through. But like I said, as we keep going further in terms of looking at the document, let me go to section 3 of A. The terms of reference will be developed under the joint leadership of the committee within 30 days. Now, let's go back to reality. How many times have we committees that have been put together in Sierra Leone for the past decades that will have solution?
There's been so many T-boy. There's been so many that hasn't brought any fruition, any good thing to Sierra Leone. And so when I spoke earlier, I used very emotive words. I said the APC and the SLPP for 63 years have taken us for a mug. And when I say mug, they run a ring around us. They take us for fools, and they don't care about us. They've not cared about us. They've not cared about the people of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is not a poor country. What we have is poor management of its resources. We've never been poor. We don't need aid. But the APC and the SLPP has made us begging nation by simply mismanaging our resources and by simply being wicked and selfish to the people. What we've seen and what we continue to see is a display of this political elite who have taken us to ransom. This is a political coup on the people of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And this coup has been going on for well over 50 years, wherein the APC and the SLPP do not conduct elections. They conduct elections every 10 years. For me, as a Sierra Leonean, and when I say we need another political party that will break the yoke, it would have to be the people of that republic to seriously ask themselves questions and ask themselves really, really important questions. Are these people representing us, or are they representing themselves? You have boycotted governance for 4 months. In 4 months, we lost the MCC, which is about 400 million that could have come to that republic that we needed, because they were protesting and they were actually saying funding from the EU. We lost funding from development partners. Why? Because the APC cried foul. And they said they were doing this for the benefit of the good of the people. These recommendations I have seen are so partisan, they're so party-based. What really is there for the people? What is really sitting there for the people?
We'll come to that. I think that's another important
element. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. The only 2 things that talk about the people of Sierra Leone in that report is 1, the setting up of the committee for electoral reform in 30 days, and 2, that the committee will last for 6 months. That is the only thing that is referring to the people. But everything else is about the party, the party, the party, the party, the party. Parties and this, parties is this, party this, party this. This is about self-interest.
Okay, we'll come to the interest of the party and the interest
not about the people, not about the people. Then these recommendations, T-Boy, that is strongly in favor of the people. It is about positioning greedy political elites who have hijacked our nation and hijacked our national resources as the cash pots and cash box. This is all about the cash box. The republic has become the cash box, and we the people are suffering for it.
Okay,
and it needs to end. It needs to come to an end.
What's your take?
Yeah, let me just go back a bit. Big Brother mentioned something about the votes. I strongly believe, under the leadership of Dr. Samura, he strongly believes that the people's votes does count, hence why he has put forward this, this threat for make sure, say, ECSL produce the IRA from them. And this is not party policy, not to just Dr. Samura. The Secretary General don't talk over and over. You understand? So I believe strongly, Big Brother, that the people in voting really matter to the party, not just to Dr. Samura, and yes, myself, I don't get the sentiment Big Brother mentioned about individualism, not getting nothing to do with Sierra Leone. I don't get that sentiment to you one more. You understand? But I just hope we get small patience, at some point that the party will come out and answer some of the questions that so would for go to right now. Yes, what's in there also right now, what's they give to in black and white. It's very easy to understand. So this is not really rocket science to understand. But I believe also, not long forget, there was a presentation that was made by Dr. Kafalamara. Me not get privy to that presentation. I don't know what Dr. Kafalamara was presents to.
Abdul, I think we'll get some issue with the network. I'm not too sure or 110% sure whether we are running all clear, because as you get some huge breakage I don't know, Femi, can you check something for us quickly if you can and see if we have a smooth running online and if we're going out live properly? Because I'm monitoring and I'm not seeing much happening. I don't know whether it's on my side or the side of the people who are participating. Anyway, guys, if you're online and you think you're having us smoothly, please let us know. Send us a quick message online so that we'll check up and see whether everything is running up smoothly. Yeah, okay, Abeg, please do not scan for check for see if they get any kind of breakage. Because when we feed going out, I'm struggling. I struggle for see whether we get smooth run. Femi, can you check for us quickly to the people watching? Hello guys, if not hear we clearly, if not they get we feed out clearly, can you guys give us a thumbs up so that we'll continue as they struggle for get we feed up properly? I don't know whether we still they run or we get a lot of breakage.
But bear with me, I'm working on it.
Yeah, sound is good. Is the picture good as well? Okay, no problem. All right, thank you very much. All right, guys, just bear with us quickly, working on bringing it back to normality. We know for see right now. I look some of the comment them who they get, very interesting ones as well. Welcome, Stephen. Stephen, I never see you comment in the cam. Keep sending them. We're going to talk about them later on as the program they go ahead. And I know say and also Jerry's online and a few more people that we know are online. Yes, sound is good. We just need to find out now and make sure the picture is good as well because sound is fine. Yeah, I'm just going through some of the messages and we see exactly what's in some of the comments then really come. So we're watching the comments and we are going to go through some of the comments later on. And let's see so now the one that's Abdullah used to you know better. Me good me not get better English. I don't say no to me. Of course, I'll sign in Instagram because you don't have fit on for long. So you know exactly what's in the salon crew. Now like we they struggle almost small. Yeah, well, thank you. Sound is good on YouTube. The YouTube family, I don't forget tonight to the country now.
T-boy.
We know for say for sure a very